My name is Nina Arshavsky, and I'm going to be presenting some data today for about access to and success in dual enrollment courses in North Carolina and Indiana. If you attended the research panel, which happened at 10 in the morning today, you probably have seen that the research panel also were talking about access to and success to dual enrollment courses and the factors that affect this. So I'm going to talk about these same issues on the example of how it happens in 2 states. Okay, now I'm trying to move my slides. Okay, here we are. So I work at the Early College Research Center, which conducts and synthesizes and disseminates research on early college and related topics such as dual enrollment and transition to college. Early College Research Center is one of the organizers of this conference. So you have probably seen a number of our team members, including Julie Edmonds, who is the director of the Early College Research Center. So one of the big studies we started our research with is an experimental study of the impacts of early colleges, which includes 19 early colleges here in North Carolina. It's still continuing. We had 3 consecutive grants from IAS to conduct this study. Then there was a grant from Arnold Foundation, and now we are following these same students who were enrolled in 9th grade from 2008 to 2011. We're still following them into college and workforce. Out of this study grew up a number of evaluations of expansions of early colleges in different states, in seven different states. And now we have a study of impact, implementation, and cost of dual enrollment program, statewide dual enrollment program in North Carolina. And we also have 2 evaluations of early college development in rural and urban areas in Indiana. And this is why I am going to talk about early college dual enrollment implementation both in North Carolina and Indiana, because we are currently studying this dual enrollment in both states. But I just wanted to say that all the studies, both experimental study and our evaluations of expansion efforts, some of this data is summarized in our book, Early Colleges as a Model for Schooling. And I just wanted to say that right after this session at noon, we will have a panel with authors of the book, Julie Edmonds, Elizabeth Glennie, and myself, and we'll talk about our findings and our ideas that we present in this book. So what I'm going to talk about today is, first of all, I will describe and compare implementation of dual enrollment or dual credit. The names could be different, but the ideas are the same in these 2 states, North Carolina and Indiana. The way the state implement the program is a little bit different. So we'll talk about the differences. We'll also talk about similarities. We will look at the factors that affect student participation and success in dual credit course taking in these 2 states and compare it how these factors are similar and different, again, because of the different ways the states implement the program. We will analyze the barriers for student participation and how these barriers are related to these different ways to implement the program. And we will actually, I hope that we will discuss with all of you different ways to expand student participation in dual enrollment or dual credit programs. So what data do we use for our analysis? First of all, through the evaluation of the dual enrollment, statewide dual enrollment program in North Carolina, we have data from North Carolina Department of Public Instruction and community college system for student participation in the dual enrollment program, which is called CCP, Career and College Promise, for 12 graders in the 2019-20 school year. We also conducted interviews in 8 different districts in North Carolina with staff in the schools, with instructors in college, and director of dual enrollment in college, and district staff as well, about implementation and also factors that affect participation and success. And in spring of 2022 in North Carolina, we had a survey where we asked district staff and college staff about various factors and barriers to student participation. We received 295 survey responses, which represented 72 districts, which is about 2/3 of all districts in North Carolina, 45 community colleges, which again is the majority of community colleges, and about 113 high schools. So we asked both high school staff, district staff, and community college staff. So based on this data, I will show you some of the results and some of our conclusions about implementation. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background for how the program is implemented. Well, for most of you here who are from North Carolina, or those who attended previous sessions where we talked a lot about North Carolina data, you probably know about Career and College Promise Program, which is called CCP. It started statewide in 2011, and it's supported by the state legislation. The program pays tuition for all eligible 11th and 12th graders to enroll in one of the 3 pathways: college transfer pathway, CTE pathway, or early college, which in North Carolina is called Cooperative Innovative High Schools, or CIHS. The state determines eligibility of students for these courses, which is currently it's 11th and 12th graders. It could potentially be expanded to 9th and 10th grade in some cases, and GPA has to be greater than 2.8. But for some students who are trying to enroll in dual enrollment CTE classes, principals have some leeway of giving them opportunity to enroll in these classes, even if their GPA is lower than that. The program is supported by North Carolina Department of Public Instruction in collaboration with the community college system. And the last 3 bullet points here are coming already from the data from our study. So what we found from the data is that approximately 30% of all seniors in public schools in North Carolina were enrolled in CCP in 2019-12 school year. 17% of all students were enrolled in transfer pathway, 7% in CTE pathway, and 6% in the early college or CIHS pathway. What we also found when we looked at differential enrollment among the districts is that the schools in rural settings were more likely to have higher participation level rates than schools in urban areas. That is the percentage of students in the rural districts were higher of those students who were enrolled in CCP than in schools in urban areas. And also, schools with higher percentages of underrepresented minority students had lower level of CCP participation, which somewhat overlaps with being school rural and urban. There is some overlap about underrepresented minority and being urban or rural. I just wanted to remind you, please, as we go along with this presentation, if you have any questions, please put them in chat. And Isaac here, who is helping me with this presentation, he is monitoring the chat, and he will then tell me what the questions are and we'll discuss them. So again, from our study here in North Carolina, what are some of the impacts of this program on students in these pathways? So we looked at the data of what happens to students 6 years after they graduated from high school. And we found that all students, and we compared students who participated in CCP to similar students who did not participate in CCP. And the matching was done based on their demographic characteristics and their prior achievement. So when we compare these similar students, those who participated and those who did not participate, for those students who participated in each of the pathways, students participating in CCP earned more credentials, any credentials, whether it's certificate, diploma, associate degree, bachelor's degree, any of these credentials, they earned more of them 6 years after high school than those students who did not participate. And specifically those students who participated in CT, 45% of them earned one of these credentials. In transfer, 67 and 7% earned these credentials. And in CHS, 60% of those students earned some credential 6 years after high school. If we look at specifically certificate, diploma, or associate degree, but not bachelor degree, again, all of these 3 pathways, students in those pathways who participated earned more of these credentials than students who did not participate in CCP. If we look specifically at bachelor's degree 6 years after high school graduation, we have a little bit different results. So for transfer pathway, students who participated earned more bachelor's degree, 57% versus 55% students in comparison group who did not participate in CCP. In early colleges or CIHS, again, more students in CIHS earned bachelor's degree 6 years after high school, 37% versus 32% in the group which was not, comparable group which was not in early college. But in CTE pathway, fewer students earned bachelor's degree than those students who did not participate in CCP, which kind of makes sense because probably that was their goal. At least that could be a potential explanation for that difference. Also, when we compared these outcomes for different groups of students, we looked at economically disadvantaged students, we looked at underrepresented minority students and rural students. We found that the impacts for those specific groups were higher, impacts of their participation in CCP, in dual enrollment program here, were higher than for those students who were not economically disadvantaged or not underrepresented minority and not rural students. So this is table, it represents our data from the survey. And these are responses from the districts, which again, 2/3 of all of the districts provided their responses to our survey about in which ways students took their courses. And I know that there's a lot of numbers here, so I will explain what it means. So when we look at the title here, none, less than 25%, between 25 and 75, and more than 75. This is about how many students in this district. And then the numbers within the table are talking about how many districts said that many students participate in one of the pathways. So I will just read you a couple of the columns so you know what I'm talking about. So when we look at the column with none, it means none of the students in the district. So we'll go to the first line, none of the students, zero districts said that none of the students in their district took courses online, meaning that in all of the districts, at least some of the students took their courses online. 1% of the districts said that none of their students took courses on college campus, meaning that 99% of the district had students who took their courses on college campus, at least some of them. On high school campus taught by college instructor, 35% of the districts, roughly 1/3 of the districts, said that none of their students took courses on high school campus taught by college instructor. And in the last row, 2/3 of the districts said that none of their students were taught by qualified high school instructors, meaning that in 2/3 of the districts, high school teachers did not teach dual credit courses. If we go to the very right column, about more than 75% of students, we see that in 30% of the districts, more than 75% of students took their courses online. So at least in almost a third of the districts, almost all of their students took their courses online. Then we look at college campus, more than 75% of students took courses on college campus in 10% of the district. So you can see the picture here. So the general picture is that a lot of students took courses online. About half of the students, a lot of the districts had a lot of their students taking courses online. That's what we see up here. In about half of the districts, more than 25% of the students took courses on college campus. And then much fewer districts reported that courses were taught by college instructor on high school campus or by high school instructor on high school campus. So that's the way how the courses are taught in North Carolina. Now, in comparison, I would like to describe how things are done in Indiana. So in Indiana, they actually have a specific way they talk about dual credit or dual enrollment. So they call dual credit those courses that are taught by high school teachers on high school campus. And dual enrollment, they call those courses that are taught by college instructors on college campus or online. So they distinguish between dual credit and dual enrollment. For the sake of our presentation, I combine both dual credit and dual enrollment ways of taking courses in one category because we are going to be looking at the difference of how these courses are taken. So Indiana statute requires each high school to offer at least 2 dual credit and 2 AP courses in each high school. And that is coming from actually the Indiana Early College Credit Report, which is published by Indiana Department of Education. And Indiana calls their program Indiana Early College Credit Program versus in North Carolina, it's called Career and College Promise. So that's actually Indiana Early College Credit Program. It's the name of their program for dual credit or dual enrollment. And so the College Credit Report of 2021 gives us these numbers that in 2018, in the high school graduating cohort, which included about 74,000 students, graduates, of those graduates, 64% earned either dual credit or AP credit or both. Of those students, 44,000, that is 60%, earned just dual credit, and 4,000 earned AP credit, which are quite impressive numbers, I should say. So again, from the same report, we have these numbers that all technical and priority liberal and our dual credit courses are offered at no cost to qualifying low-income students. And all other students are offered the courses at a maximum rate of $25 per credit hour. So in Indiana, they have just one community college, which is Ivy Tech Community College, which really provides dual credit to 60% of all dual credit in Indiana. And Ivy Tech Community College waives tuition for all students. So at least 60% of dual credit courses are coming at no cost for students. And then for all of the low-income students, other colleges also provide waiver. So eligibility is not determined by the state. Eligibility is determined by specific colleges who are partners for high schools that are providing dual credit coursework. So they may require placement test or some prerequisite courses or something else as eligibility. And then under Indiana law, students must achieve a letter grade of at least C or better to enroll in subsequent dual credit coursework in the same subject area. Indiana has a set of courses which is called Indiana College Core. This set of courses was created in statute in 2012. It consists of 30 transferable credits in core subject areas, which include 6 subject areas: math, science, English, social studies, humanities, and world languages. So in order to acquire this set or block of courses, students have to take at least one course in each of these 6 subject areas. And the rest of so it's 30 transferable credits. Basically, they have to take 10 courses. The rest of the courses, they can select which subject area to take this course in. And then this block of courses is transferable within community colleges and from community college to any public university in Indiana, and some of the private universities also participate in this transfer program. So whenever students are taking dual credit courses and can get all of these transferable credits, they can transfer them into most of the universities, 4-year universities in Indiana. And basically this ICC, Indiana College Core, is it's similar to the transfer pathway here in North Carolina, because it's also transferable courses. In Indiana, the students also have a possibility of taking CTE pathways, and there are many of them, as well as CTE pathway here in North Carolina. So again, from the same early college credit report in Indiana, produced by the government, by Department of Education, students who earn the ICC are more likely to be white and come from higher income households. About 94% of ICC earners, those students who during their high school earned this 10 courses, dual credit courses, they go to attend college, at least in 2018-19. They don't have a more recent report yet. So hopefully they will get a more recent report soon. So we have the updated numbers. And then because it's 30 credits and each credit comes with a cost of no more than $25, the whole entire block of these 10 courses come at no more than $750. Beginning in September of 25, the Higher Learning Commission in Indiana is requiring high school educators who teach these dual credit courses to meet new requirements, which typically includes either a master in the subject area or master in a different area plus 18 credits in the subject area. So Indiana actually has 2 programs, again, funded by the Department of Education in Indiana, which provides free tuition for teachers. These 2 programs are called Teach Dual Credit Indiana and STEM Teach Indiana. STEM Teach Indiana is specifically for STEM courses, and Teach Dual Credit Indiana for all other subject areas, to prepare teachers to teach these dual credit courses. I just wanted to say that in Indiana, most of the dual credit courses are taught by high school teachers on the high school campus. And a few students here and there may take dual credit courses on college campus or online, but it's not prevalent in Indiana. Prevalent is high school teachers teaching on high school campus. So both states really provide big supports for students to take their dual enrollment courses. Both of them are paying college tuition. North Carolina is paying completely, and Indiana is paying mostly completely college tuition. And also, both states establish statewide transfer of college credit between 2-year and 4-year public institutions. And obviously, we're talking about college transfer courses, not CTE courses. CTE courses are not getting into this category. So that's a big support, both policy support and funding supports for dual credit programs in these two states. This is what is similar about them. So what is different is, as I said, in Indiana, most dual credit courses are taught by qualified high school teachers on high school campus. And in North Carolina, as we saw from the table I showed you, based on our survey of the districts, most dual enrollment courses are taught by college instructors, either online or on college campus. So next, I'm going to talk about the challenges of expanding access to dual credit enrollment in each state. But I also encourage you, whether you come from these two states or other states, to also try to answer this question. It could be the same answer or a different answer from what I'm going to talk about next. What are the challenges of expanding access to dual credit or enrollment courses in these different ways of providing dual credit or dual enrollment courses for students? So your answers to these questions are very welcome in the chat. So what are the distinct challenges in Indiana and North Carolina based on the ways these courses are provided? Well, because in Indiana, courses are provided by high school teachers, but these high school teachers have to be qualified to teach these courses. Then training and retaining enough qualified staff in the right subject areas to provide these courses for dual credit and to complete ICC pathways is a challenge. So the schools that we work with in Indiana for our evaluation are trying to all to provide the entire ICC pathway. It means that they have to be able to have teachers in at least those qualified teachers in at least these 6 different subjects and more than one course, to be able to provide more than one course in some of the subject areas. So that's a challenge in Indiana. In North Carolina, challenge is coming from the differences between high school system and college system, because students have to take their dual credit courses in both systems. They take their dual credit courses mostly from the community college. So if they have to go on campus, transportation is the problem. Whether it's on campus or online, calendar and daily schedules are not necessarily aligned between high school and college, and so that creates a problem. Textbooks and course fees, we did not hear that being a problem in Indiana, probably because, again, these courses are provided on high school campus, so somehow the textbook at least are paid for through the high school system. And then online access sometimes is a problem if students, for example, have difficulties with online access in their homes. So we learned about, so the survey we did just in North Carolina. We did not do this kind of survey in Indiana. So the survey data is coming from North Carolina, and we asked survey questions based on what we learned from the interviews. So we were interested whether these barriers that were identified by staff in those 7 districts we interviewed before the survey, whether how prevalent are they in all the districts. So these are the responses we got from 2/3 of the districts. So what are the barriers? So we listed the barriers and we asked how much of a problem that barrier is for student participation in dual credit. So we see the same answers as we saw from the interviews, that mismatch in calendars and daily schedules is a very big barrier. Insufficient staff. This is one that is actually not coming just from the way of courses are taught, and we'll talk about this later. Insufficient staff for advising and course registration is actually a common barrier for Indiana and North Carolina, but others are really specific to the way North Carolina is providing dual credit. So limited student access to technology and internet at home and or at school, and differences between college and district courses, systems, and technology. Because, again, it's whether students are taking these online courses at home or in school, if the school is using different technology system than college, which oftentimes it does, there could be some technical difficulties. So it's quite a barrier as well. And then the last line is coming actually from college responses, not from district responses as all the previous ones. And college tells us that oftentimes high school staff is not very knowledgeable about dual credit program, and that also creates a barrier for student participation. So here I'm trying to combine common challenges in Indiana and North Carolina coming from different methods of getting this information. So on the left is what we heard from staff in our interviews about what are the challenges. So we heard this in interviews both with Indiana staff and North Carolina staff. And on the right, we did something different with survey and actual data. So what we did, we took survey responses from the districts, and we correlated the survey responses from the district with the actual participation data. So how many students, what percentage of students in these districts actually participates in CCP, compared to what this district said about the barriers. So if you look on the right, these are all the factors that were correlated. So meaning that if the district said in the survey that insufficient staff to provide CCP advising is a barrier, that also correlated with a lower participation rate in this district. So these are correlated with actual participation rate. So it's insufficient staff to provide CCP advising, insufficient staff to provide assistance with college course registration, lack of supportive leadership, lack of student awareness of CCP courses, challenges with CCP course registration process. This is what we got from the survey and from actual participation data. And on the left side is what we heard in the interviews in both states. So insufficient staff, lack of supportive leadership, lack of student awareness are the same themes we heard. And also what we heard in the interviews, but we did not get necessarily the data confirming that from actual participation, is student college readiness is a big theme for barrier to participation. And lack of high school staff buying into the program is also a big theme in terms of a barrier to participation. So again, when we looked at survey responses and how the survey responses were correlated with a actual level of participation in the districts, we had a few other factors that were associated with higher actual level of student participation. So if more of CCP students took their courses online, this district actually had a higher participation rate. So online access provides bigger access to participation in CCP. The breadth of student recruitment. So if more students were reached through personal communication and in higher grades, that increased participation. So if more students talk to their counselors and in length, it's so if these conversations were more in-depth than other than just school announcements, that provided a better participation level in CCP. So recruitment and communication with students mattered for actual participation. And then, of course, awareness of CCP by school staff, by students, and the families were correlated with the actual higher participation level in the districts. This is coming from our interviews. When we talk to people about their support for CCP program, and we talked to leaders themselves and to staff about what the attitudes of their leaders were. So what we found is that those leaders who focused more on benefits to students actually were more supportive of the dual credit or dual enrollment program. Another factor that affected leadership support, school leadership support, or district leadership support for the program was when businesses as communities came to the districts and told the districts, we really need the qualified workforce. We really need you to have your students to take more courses in this and that areas. So when businesses and community were advocating for the district with the districts for qualified workforce, the districts and schools were more supportive. In some rural districts, we heard that we really need to enroll students in CCP program because we don't have an AP physics teacher or an AP biology teacher. The only way for us to provide students with experience of advanced courses is through the CCP program. And often it was in rural areas more than in urban areas. And that's our hypothesis, that that's one of the reasons why we see actually the higher level of participation in rural areas than in urban areas. And I would like to pose this question to you. Do you have an experience and do you have an opinion about that? Is, like, in your districts, with your experience, is this the case that if a district or school has limited access to advanced, for teachers with for advanced subjects areas like honors physics or AP physics or biology or something else, is this an incentive to enroll more students in CCP? We would like to test this hypothesis, but at this point, it's just our hypothesis. And then in Indiana, for example, schools and districts compete for students. So students can select among a few different schools where to send their, families can select among different schools where to send their students. And so if they have a strong dual credit program that makes the schools competitive and they can get more students because students want to get to the school because they have a strong dual credit program. So that's one of the incentives for the schools to expand access to dual credit in their districts.
Hey, Nita.
Yes?
Hey, there is a comment in the chat I'd like to read. It says, in Virginia, we have a huge challenge in finding qualified high school dual enrollment teachers. They do not have 18 grad credits in the subject, or they don't have a master's degree. And there is not much incentive from the districts near us for them to get this additional coursework. I just wanted to share that.
Right. And yes, it is a problem. It is a problem, I think, in every district or state where they try to provide the dual credit programs with the high school teachers in high school. And as I said, in Indiana, the state actually supports the provision, like the state supports teachers to get qualified to teach dual credit, because the states really supports this program overall and they want to expand it. And actually they're trying to expand the entire ICC program. So I guess it's now, in the States, it's now up to the state to support more teachers, because it is, yeah, getting qualified teachers is a big problem where you need to have these teachers to teach the courses, dual credit courses.
So yeah, absolutely. So now there's another chat. Everything is coming in the chat. This person says, absolutely. We have a small number of schools. We have a number of small schools under 150 students and high numbers of homeschool students. Dual credit offers access to courses that are not otherwise available to them. And then this comes, and that was from Dawn. Thank you, Dawn. This comes from Victoria. She writes, this is just one small example, but one of our city schools, still in a rural area of North Carolina, recently enrolled several students in one of our math classes because they were short on math instructors. For the same reason, they also promote dual enrollment as a way to get a higher level fourth math requirement before high school graduation during high school. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for these comments. It's it's kind of confirms what we're thinking, what one of the incentives is. But I would love to do more research on that specific topic, because I think it's an important thing. So we also looked at student success and what are the factors that affect student success. And again, this is coming from the survey. And we asked people whether this situation is present in their district, and whether, and if it is present, it has an impact on student success in comprehensive high schools. So obviously, academic supports provided by school staff for CCP courses or provided by college staff for CCP courses increased in view of those who responded student success in the courses. The next two lines are about communication between college and school. Data about student performance in CCP courses provided in timely manner by the college to the high school is a big factor that affected student success. And the same line is for, typically it's online courses, instructor who monitors students' online CCP course taking. In a number of schools, students are required to take their online courses in the school, and they have an instructor who monitors them as they do that. So if that happens, that contributes to student success according to districts. Because if schools know when students are not doing well in the course at the time when they can still provide support to them and nudge them to do the work, or just provide academic supports, then this student is going to be more successful, rather than when schools only know that the student fails after the course is done. So that was a big factor which took. And in some of the schools in North Carolina, among those schools we talked to, some of the schools had a system arranged and managed where actually they had a good communication with a college, and some of the school did not. And that was a big difference for how the school actually affected their attitude towards CCP course taking. And I'll talk about it a little later. College course withdrawal policies was a big factor affecting student success, because in North Carolina, again, the withdrawal date for high school course is a few days after the course started. For the college level course, it's like 3 weeks before the course ended. So there's a big gap between when you can withdraw from the college course, from the college side versus high school side. And so a lot of times college instructors would encourage students who are not doing well in their dual credit course to just drop the course. And in this case, first of all, it appears on student transcript. It could appear on student transcript as a either failure or 0. Or in some cases, if this course is required for graduation, then student did not have the course required for the graduation in time to graduate. So that had a big negative effect on high school graduation requirements or transcript, which was an effect for student success. And then there are some school district policies that actually restricted who can access CCP courses, which also affected student success.
Hey, Nina, this is Isaac.
Uh-huh.
Just want to make sure you're aware that we have about 3 more minutes left.
Okay, I'm trying to advance my slides and wait. Okay. So what I was going to say is that actually there are a number of factors that affect both student access and success, which include instructor who monitors students' course taking, data provided in timely manner, and college course withdrawal policies. So we had this from our survey. Why is that? And that is simply because schools and districts want their students to be successful in these dual credit courses. They don't want students to fail or to have bad grades. So those students who affect student success, they also affect student access. Why? From our interviews, we learned that in order to ensure student success in these dual credit or dual enrollment courses, schools typically have a number of strategies. One of the strategies is to provide access only to academically advanced and college-ready students. Therefore, if they do that, they don't have to worry that when they cannot monitor these students in college courses, which are provided by college instructors, and there is no data coming back to school, they don't have to worry about these students. They know that these students are going to be successful in these courses anyway, whether schools monitors them or not. Another strategy that schools used was to restrict access after a student failed in DE, DC course, meaning basically that they gave them a chance and they tested them whether they're ready or not to take this dual credit courses on their own. If they're ready, good. If they're not ready, then don't let the students to take any more courses. Restrict number of these courses that students can take simultaneously. Again, if there are 2 or 3 courses, dual credit courses that student takes at the same time, it may be the overload for them. So restricting the number of courses kind of allows schools to regulate the amount of time, the amount of energies the student can take on that. And then the last one is actually to provide this monitoring and support for student performance and providing advising and support that students need. So 3 of those upper ones are restricting. And the last one is actually providing support to students. I know that we are at our time, but I just wanted to say that this is something for you to think about. What are the most effective ways of improving student participation and success? Because those are related, as we know, because we want our students to be successful in these dual credit courses. So we need to provide both access and success, not just access. We don't want access with failure. And another question is, what lessons could we learn from the early college and apply to dual enrollment courses? And I really thank you for participating in this conversation. And this is my email if you want to reach out with questions. There's a link for Early College Research Center, and we also have a monthly newsletter from Early College Research Center where we provide the most recent data from our studies and evaluations. If you would like to sign up, you can use this link to sign up for our newsletter. Thank you again for attending the session.
Thank you so much, Nina. Thanks, everybody.